What's going on everyone, it's Justin here, and today I've got a video of the OPPO Reno phone. So you might recognize this device from the images in MKBHD's April Fool's video of the next Google Pixel. So here we've got the device on hand, and in this video I'm going to talk about the features of it, the hardware, design, as well as the great camera, and just give you guys my first impressions after having this for a day or two. So in the past, you might know OPPO from doing things like the camera mechanism back in the day, as well as the one that pops up from last year, the Lamborghini device, and overall just phones that have some cool engineering things when it comes to hardware. They were really one of the first to play with the camera mechanism, and this phone is no different because if you go to the front-facing camera, you might notice that it does pop up on the top, and as a result of that, this is one of the cleanest phones that you're going to find from the front. This device also has the latest camera technology, and we're going to be heading to a really cool destination to really test out the camera on the OPPO Reno, so look out for a travel video of that. I'm really excited about it, and I'd like to give a huge thanks to OPPO for sponsoring this video. So the Reno 10X Zoom has a 6.6-inch OLED display with a resolution of 2340 by 1080, which is Full HD+, and the screen itself looks pretty good. I mean, it is nice and vibrant, but nothing too overboard. I think the biggest thing you're going to notice though, obviously, is the 93.1% screen-to-body ratio, which is one of the highest that you're ever going to find on a device. The bezel at its widest point is just over 3mm, and that is thanks to the pop-up camera on the top. I also really like the fact that the screen is pretty much flat and it doesn't really curve or wrap around the edge, because I find with those devices it's really easy to accidentally press on the screen when you don't want to. The fingerprint sensor that is built underneath the display is also 30% faster than the previous generation and 30% more reliable. On the back, you have this kind of seamless glass layered design, and it comes in two different colors, including green and the jet black, and I'm personally a big fan of the jet black. Another good design touch though is that the camera doesn't protrude from the back. It is completely flat and flush even with the triple setup. Other than that, you have a design by OPPO through the strip on the bottom, as well as the OPPO logo, and I do hear that they are going to be making a Lamborghini device, which I'm very excited for. The buttons are also very nicely located around the midpoint as opposed to the 3/4 point, which we see a lot, and the volume rockers are on the other side, so everything is very easy to access and press when you need to. Although a 6.6-inch display is absolutely massive and might not be convenient to use, because this phone goes edge to edge, it is actually very easy to grip, and I was able to use the device one hand no problem. But now onto the triple camera setup on the back, and it consists of 3 different sensors, including a 48-megapixel f1.7 paired with an 8-megapixel wide camera and a 13-megapixel telephoto lens. One of the biggest features of this phone is the fact that it has 10x hybrid zoom, which utilizes multiple sensors to get you a lossless image. When it comes to the image quality, I was actually pretty impressed with the dynamic range and sharpness of the images coming from this phone. I did find that the color was overall pretty consistent and the zoom works very well. You get a very usable image even when using 10x, but it is primarily made for stuff like landscape because of the focusing distance. The Sony IMX586 sensor on the main camera allows a lot of light in, and that is thanks to the 1/2-inch size sensor with an f1.7 aperture. This device also has Ultra Night Mode 2.0. If you guys remember from last year, we went to Milan, Italy with OPPO and tested out the RX17 Pro, which was very well known for its night mode at the time. This device does do a pretty good job with night photos, and I do like that it is pretty fast in terms of capturing the overall image compared to other smartphones. As for video, this can record up to a 4K resolution, so here's a quick test of that. I know a lot of times with smartphones that have great rear-facing cameras, the front-facing camera is mediocre at best, but if they were going to go through all the effort of doing an engineered camera setup where it kind of pops up every time, you obviously do expect that the camera on the front is at least good. The front-facing camera is a 16-megapixel resolution with an f2.0 aperture, and I have to say the quality is pretty good, and I really like the fact that it is nice and wide. A lot of times I find that front-facing cameras are not as good in terms of dynamic range and sensing the situation, but I found this one didn't suffer that same problem. I think as long as it does stay reliable in terms of popping up and down without getting stuck or anything, because that would kind of defeat the purpose, this is actually a pretty good idea and gives you that really nice and clean uniform look on the front. On the spec side of things, the OPPO Reno 10X Zoom comes with a Snapdragon 855 processor, which is their flagship for this year. Overall, ColorOS gives you kind of this very clean experience with a very colorful look to it, hence its name, and the icons and everything in my opinion do look pretty decent. The settings menu is very easy to find your way around, and I would say that it is overall pretty good, but definitely not my favorite out there. If you're looking for a nice clean interface that is intuitive and easy to get around though, then ColorOS definitely achieves that, and it is also very smooth and fast. As for the battery, this device has a 4065 mAh, and it's just really great to see more and more smartphones move over the 4000 mAh mark. In the past few years, OPPO's definitely been in the forefront of fast charges, and this device is no exception because you can get up to 75% of charge in just 30 minutes. The fast charging is always really nice to see in a phone with a battery of over 4,000 mAh, but unfortunately you don't have wireless charging despite the glass back. Otherwise, I think this device has a lot of things going for it in terms of design. It looks really good on the front, and you just can't beat the 93.1% screen to body ratio, and the camera mechanism is a unique thing that either you love it or you don't. But you've also got a large battery, great build quality, a phone that is nice and comfortable to use and isn't too tall in terms of the screen aspect ratio. And the camera setup is also the latest and greatest with the zoom, as well as a high resolution camera and the wide camera, which I'm very excited to test out in the next week. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a like on this video, and also leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.